What's up, everyone? It's HockeyStricks here, and today we got some big news about the 2021 World Junior Hockey Championship. That's right, you mightn't have it on your mind because you're watching the Stanley Cup Finals and stuff, but I've been thinking about it, what's going to happen with it. It's in Edmonton already, and as we know, the bubble for the Stanley Cup Finals is there, and that's gone very successfully, and today the IIHF actually announced that the 2021 World Junior Championships will be played in a bubble without spectators in Edmonton, within that same bubble, obviously. And then they also said in 2022, the World Junior Championship is going to be there again in Edmonton and Red Deer, ideally with fans. I guess that's the plan. But Sweden was supposed to host the 2022 World Juniors, so now they're going to host the 2024 World Juniors. So they made a swap there. Edmonton was supposed to have it again in 2024, but now Sweden does. So this is confirmed from the official Twitter account, as you can see. In case we forgot what the bubble looks like, obviously it's a great setup for these young players to go to. It mightn't be as extensive for them as it was for the NHL players, but right now for the NHL, they have a 900-person capacity health testing area. They got 4 luxury hotels, 14 on-site restaurants and stuff, 8 movie theaters, 24 team dedicated lounges, and 13 dedicated fitness centers. So it mightn't be that extensive, but we know that the NHL and Edmonton has done a great job with this bubble setup. I'm sure the IIHF will be on the phone with the NHL and everyone involved with this. Probably a lot of the same people will be involved, organizers and stuff that helped out for the NHL, help out for World Juniors. I'm sure they're confident once everyone from all their different countries get to the bubble, maybe they'll isolate or whatever, they'll do all the COVID testing, that this is going to be the safest way for the World Junior Championship to take place this year. This is something we don't want to miss out on. There's already some hits happening to junior hockey and potentially some players' development due to the leagues being hurt by COVID, so this is something that we need to see happen. There's actually one more little piece of news within that article, if you would have clicked the tweet that I'm showing you, and it's that there will be no relegation or promotion for the World Juniors this year, so no team who comes in last will be demoted. And because usually you'll see some teams switching in and out if you watch the World Juniors extensively, that a new team comes in every year and the team who came in last is pushed down a division. That won't happen this year. I guess it's just because of the circumstances, they don't want to have to deal with that, and that they're going back to Edmonton again in 2022, and then they'll go back to the normal promotion relegation system. So guys, I actually had a video idea like months ago that I was going to bring you, and it was going to be, I was thinking with the NHL planning to come back December 1st, it doesn't seem like many people are thinking that's actually going to happen anymore. It's looking more like it'll be January, potentially even February, the way everyone's talking, before the NHL returns. So if that happens, even January 1, I could see a lot of these young players who are eligible for World Juniors going to the World Juniors instead of going to the NHL right away, or even if it's any later, they'll obviously have time to go. So I was going to make a video about how stacked this World Juniors could be. It could be one of the most stacked World Juniors we've seen in a long, long time. So I'm going to give you that content right now. So let's dive right into what players could potentially be at the World Junior Championship this year that wouldn't have been if COVID didn't happen, because obviously the NHL would have been playing during the World Junior Championship, and we know how that usually goes. Teams have to decide to loan players, if or not loan players, depending on how they feel it'll work out for the development or how much they're helping their team. But this year, like I said, if the NHL doesn't start December 1st, which it doesn't seem like they're gonna, just the way the world's going here now, then a lot of these players could get to play in the World Junior Championship. So let's dive right into those Canadian players first. So just an FYI, any player you see in white is one that is pretty much guaranteed to have been playing in the NHL, and his team not loan them to the World Junior team. And the teams in orange are ones that we're not sure. Maybe they would have went to World Juniors anyways, but now if the circumstances are different when there's no NHL going on, they're definitely going to be at the World Juniors. So the first player is Kirby Dach. He played in the NHL this year for Chicago. He's a great young player. I think he would have been in the NHL. Obviously, he played a bunch last year, so he most likely would have been again this year. I can't see him taking a step backwards. Alexis Lafreniere, we know he's going first overall. The Rangers are going to take him, we all assume, and they could use him on the wing, and he's pretty much NHL ready, so he would have been in the NHL. Now, Quinton Byfield, we all know this guy has the potential to be a great player, but he is a bit behind his development due to his age. So he may have been at the World Juniors. Who knows how he's progressed over the summer and all the time off he's had. Maybe he would have been NHL ready, who knows, but under these circumstances he'll definitely be at the World Juniors. And then we have Connor McMichael, a Washington Capitals prospect who almost put up 2 points per game in the OHL this past season. He could potentially be NHL ready, and he was really good for them at the World Juniors last year, but obviously under these circumstances he'll definitely get to go to the World Juniors. but he could have been with Washington if not. Dylan Cousins, he tore up the WHL, and Buffalo badly needs a second-line center or even a third-line center role for him, something like that. He could have been an NHL player if the NHL was ongoing, but he would definitely get another shot at the World Juniors, of course. So moving south of the border now, we all know Jack Hughes, he played in the NHL all year long. If this does happen, he'll go to the World Juniors. What a boost that would be for them at the World Junior Championship. Alex Turcotte, another great player, an LA Kings prospect, could have been NHL ready. He's pretty close, if not, and he'll get to go to the World Juniors, and their center depth is going to be crazy. Trevor Zegras, another great player. He was good for them at the World Juniors last year, but he signed his ELC now, so obviously he's close to going to the NHL at this point, but he would get to go back for this team and make them even more stacked. Nick Robertson played NHL playoff games for the Toronto Maple Leafs this summer, but he would get to go as well. Obviously, the Leafs are big on him. They had him playing on their third line this summer, so he's probably going into the roster if the NHL's ongoing. Obviously, a guy who's NHL ready like that, who can shoot at an NHL level already, is a huge boost for them at the World Junior Championship. At this point, Cole Caulfield hasn't signed his ELC, so it's probably not as likely that he would be in the NHL, but obviously I think there's an off chance that he might have made it. So he probably would end up at the World Junior Championship either way, but I just thought he was worth mentioning because we all know he's a hyped up prospect for the Habs. So far we have a huge 5-pack of players for Canada that could get added to the roster, and a half dozen pack of players that could get added to the US roster if the NHL's not happening during this World Junior Championship. Next, we go to Finland, and we have 2 players. Kakko played his whole season in the AHL. I think he was undervalued by a lot of fans. They thought they were disappointed in his season. I think that kid played a lot of hockey last year. He was fatigued, and he's going to have a great NHL season. But obviously, if these circumstances happen, they might send him to the World Junior Championship. If there's no NHL hockey to be played, I don't see why not. He didn't crazy tear up the NHL, and it's not like, well, he's not going to benefit from going to the World Juniors. He would benefit, and it'd be nice to see him back there, and Finland would get a big boost from him. Ville Heinola played all over the place last year, but he did play in the NHL, and he might have got to go to the World Juniors again this year, even if the NHL was ongoing, but he will definitely get to go and help out Finland's blue line in a big way. All right, so Germany. Now we're getting to the countries that don't necessarily have someone who you would know for certain would be in the NHL. These guys could have went to the World Juniors regardless of the circumstances, but we got Moritz Seider and Tim Stützle. Seider is a great young defender playing with the Detroit Red Wings system. He could be in the NHL if the NHL is ongoing. Who knows? They might decide to send him. Who knows where he's at this point? It feels like it's been forever since we've kind of got updates on some prospects and stuff where they're at, because there's just been such a long stop to hockey and stuff. And then Tim Stützle, who's going to go top 5 in the draft this year, I would hope, unless he slips. I'm not sure how NHL ready he is. Whoever drafts him, what their plans are for him. The draft hasn't happened yet, so it's hard to say if he would have been in the NHL, if he's even ready, but he'll definitely get to go. So take these 2 guys away from the World Junior roster, they're a lot worse than if they attend. So that would be a big boost for them if these guys are there instead of not going and are in the NHL. To Sweden now. Tobias Bjornfot played NHL games last year. He looks like a solid defender for LA, and he could have been in the NHL for them this season, but he will get to go to the World Juniors under these circumstances. And then Lucas Raymond and Holtz, we have no idea where they're going to get drafted. The draft's coming up soon, so obviously their team would have plans for them. But I think both these guys going to the World Juniors would be huge for Sweden, and I think it would still help their development. So it makes sense for them to be going under these circumstances, definitely. But if the NHL was ongoing and it's a team that got one of these guys slotted right into their top 6 as a weapon, they'd probably be playing NHL games instead of the World Juniors. So that's huge for Sweden if they get to go. Last but not least, we have one more country that's going to have a player that could be NHL ready and be in the NHL if COVID wasn't happening and the NHL postponed, and that's Marco Rossi of Austria. Austria is in this tournament, and Marco Rossi, obviously, the whole team would center around him if he's there, and if he's not there, they're probably just going to be kind of lost without him. So if the NHL's not ongoing, I assume he'll be back there with them. He could still benefit from it, even though he tore up the leagues he was in. He's a stud. He could be NHL ready. It depends on the team that drafts and what their plans are. But obviously, he's going to the World Juniors, I would assume, if the NHL's not ongoing or about to start during the World Junior Championship. I also have one honorable mention that I realize I don't have on this list for Canada. Jamie Drysdale, I'm not sure where he's at in his development, if he's a type of defenseman that's going to step right into the league, but obviously he's the highest ranked defenseman in this draft, so depending on the team that drafts him, how badly they need that defense, he could have been an NHLer who will now get to go with Canada, so that brings them up to a 6-pack of players as well. Obviously, this is only 6 teams here, and there's 10 teams competing in the World Junior Championship. So the 4 other countries, I didn't see any standout players that would have went from being in the NHL to going back to the World Junior Championship due to these circumstances, and those countries are Russia, the Czech Republic, Switzerland, and Slovakia. Just didn't see any players that I thought were worth mentioning for them. If I'm missing someone who you think is going to be an NHL-bound player but will get to go to the World Junior Championship because they're still young enough and because the NHL is not ongoing, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know about some prospects who maybe should be standing out more for me and I should have my eye on more. So guys, I am really hyped to know that the 2021 World Junior Championship is being planned to be in this bubble. I think that's the best way for it to occur, and I was wondering what's going to happen with it. Are they going to cancel it due to all the players coming from all the different countries and stuff like that? But this bubble setup makes sense, and I'm hyped to see it because it's one of my favorite things to do during Christmas every year is watch as much World Junior Championship hockey as I can, so I hope you guys are excited as I am for that. I think these circumstances we're under here in the sports world have led to some interesting moments, and this stacked World Juniors potentially is another really exciting moment that could happen out of it. Just a silver lining, if you will, of the way COVID is impacting sports. If you're still watching at this point, I really appreciate it. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more content from me. If you have some feedback for me, please leave it in the comments below. I'll try to input it into my future videos. I appreciate you all for watching. This has been HockeyStricks.